Hello, and welcome back to the Fae Banner Review, where we talk about a banner theme that refuses to do anything new each and every year. You might be wondering what theme I'm talking about. No, you're not. Today, we have a brand new ninja banner that has units that may or may not attack twice during combat. And as per tradition, I will be using this coveted line graph that may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day to rank the brand new ninja banner. Today's ranking will be based on how many times these units can attack in a single combat as a collective total between all of the units. If it so happens to go over 10 times, it will reset back to 1 and continue from there. And if you would like to continue engaging with my content, then make sure to like and subscribe so that I can continue to deteriorate my eyesight as I attempt to read modern day fake hits. It really gets hard to digest some of these things at times. I'm gonna be real, Chief.
I'm hard.
First up, there's Thraia, and she's one of the more unique ninjas we got this time around because she has Brave in her weapon. Although this is the first time she debuted with a PRF. At least one that was good, but that's spoilers. Forget I said that. Let's see. Her weapon has Slaying, Brave, Stats but as a bonus, and Breath. To herself and allies, Desperation and Canto Distance. Man, I remember the days where Brave weapons purposely had a limited amount of effects because it was, and still arguably is, one of the best effects in the entire game. I also remember the days where distant counter weapons were purposely made to be terrible because reasons. This has nothing to do with the banner, I just miss Old Fae. Thraia is definitely a player phase cavalry unit that hits twice. Yep, sure does. Yes, sir. And that's about it, I think. Yep, sure is. Okay, not entirely. At least there's some other stuff that could be talked about, like the extra effects tacked onto it. There's Desperation, which, yeah, it sure is desperate. Yep, yep, sure is. There's also Breath. There's also Anathema. I don't know how to pronounce this. How do we pronounce this?
Anathema.
Oh, okay, that's how you say it. I get it now. Yep. So anyway, back to Anthemia. It gives out what's essentially a hold status for speed, defense, and res, and it seems to stack based on every ally in range, which seems really insane, actually. Oh my god, wow. Assuming it's used defensively, Atema could be really legit for all sorts of modes that don't really have Brave Felix in them. So none. There's also that new Sly Swift Sparrow skill, not to be confused with Remote Sparrow, or Flared Sparrow, or Surge Sparrow, or Flash Sparrow, or Swift Sparrow. It gives a bunch of attack and speed, a guaranteed follow-up, and 5 true damage per hit, which is kinda neat. But yeah, that's basically everything from Thraia. I think maybe, I don't know, not really much to say for the newest player phase Brave unit that has all of this. All of that, and Dire Thunder still can't get a refund. Am I right, guys?
Boo, get off the stage.
Next, there's Cyrilou, and she's one of the more unique ninjas we got this time around because she has Brave in her weapon. She definitely doesn't scream ninja theme as a unit though, but we've definitely had weirder picks in the past. Or maybe not. The outfit is pretty cute at least. Let's see. Her weapon has Slaying, Dual Phase Brave, Stats, more Stats, True Stats, Stats but Nullified, Healing, more Healing, which also works on allies, Guidance Warping for herself, and Attuned Micaiah's Cleansing gimmick. At least there's more to talk about here besides hitting twice. She has a lot more supportive gimmicks on top of her combat that at least allows her to stand out amidst the crowd of units that do everything and even more of everything. Although, considering she's in combat with a unit that's a year old, she may not end up being that great. I can't imagine she'll be bad by any means. Someone else might be able to imagine that though. Although good chances are she'll probably do a fair bit for a good while. If worst comes to worst though, she has nice fodder at least. Not sure for how many people though. Cyrilou also doesn't seem to be nearly as good as Attuned Micaiah at least because that unit does everything. But Cyrilou doesn't make me want to jump in front of oncoming traffic, so I definitely have a preference between the two. Attuned Micaiah. All of that and Owen still can't get a refund. Am I right, guys? And then there's Diamont, and he's one of the more unique ninjas we got this time around because he has Brave in his weapon. Although I'm surprised he's here and not Alfred since it's a family-centric theme. I don't have anything funny to follow that up with. I think it's just a weird choice. Let's see. His weapon has Slaying, Dual Phase Brave, Stats, True Stats, even more True Stats, Damage Reduction Nullification, and no follow-up to himself and the foe, Frozen, and Special Jumps. Okay, maybe calling him unique was putting it lightly. They copy-pasted his entire weapon and threw on the Brave effect and called it a day. That sure is fake game design, am I right? Shut your mouth! I guess the unique part is that there's no demote this time around, but I don't know if that's for better or worse. But yeah, if you thought I had nothing to say about Thraia earlier, then you'll be shocked to know I have even less to say about Diamont. Maybe his combat will be better because he has Brave now, but I have no idea, to be honest. To be quite H. That new B slot is pretty cool though, since it's just Bulwark but better. It trades out pierceable damage reduction for true damage reduction as well as true damage and null guard. Will this help Diamont tank well enough? Maybe. Will they drop a busted nuke next week that completely invalidates his ability to tank anyway? Probably. Otherwise, that is in fact Diamont, but as a ninja. He hits twice and frozens and stats all over the place. This is the part where I would repeat the joke I used to transition to the next banner unit, but I'm doing something called subverting expectations. Clever, am I right? And lastly, there's Lucina, and she's one of the more unique ninjas we got this time around because she has Brave in her weapon. Also, there's Crom.
I'm Crom.
Let's see. Her weapon has Slaying, Flying Effectiveness, Dual Phase Brave, Stats, True Stats, Stats but less on the foe, Null Guard, and a special jump of -1 after her special procs. She also has a PRF assist and Future Focus, which is a swap Gale Force refresh thingy that grants null follow-up, special cooldown -1, and Future Witness to herself, the target, and every ally within 2 spaces of those 2 units. Future Witness, by the way, grants Canto 2, Spectrum 5, 7 true damage reduction, and Scowl on top of all the other pre-existing null follow-up and special jump stuff.
I think.
She also has a button, which is really cool, I guess. Sure, whatever. Why is her assist longer than her PRF? Okay, so the first duo ninja had Gale Force in their button. The second one had Gale Force. The third one had Gale Force. And last year's had Gale Force. And you'll never believe what Lucina's button does. That's right, it allows her to use Canto again. And it has Gale Force. This is at least a more interesting take on a ninja duo, although I say that as if it's really deviating from the script. Spoilers, it isn't. I think a lot of the takeaway I got from this is that Nurgle can now give allies Future Witness, which is really, really funny. There's also that new B slot that's actually kinda cracked. It has the same stuff as Snag 4, but now it adds more debuffs and lull speed defense if the foe has exposure active, and it's a map-wide thing. It seems like it'd be really good on units that could use their assist more than once so you could spread it around, but since it's locked to Cavs and Flyers, the pull is definitely a lot more limited. I think some of the Croms and Lucinas would like it. Oh wait, and yeah, that is definitely the ninja duo, that's for sure. Honestly, it's kind of hard to commentate on newer units when they don't really do a whole lot of new or interesting things, but hey, at least Lucina has a bunch of gimmicks in her kit that may or may not make me want to bash my head into a brick wall. But despite all that, I think it's really cool seeing Lucina and Crom in a duo together. Clapping sounds, clapping sounds, clapping sounds. I'm clapping. We could definitely use a break from Crom and Lucina alts for a bit though. There's also Nor, and she is one of the more unique ninjas we got this time around because she doesn't have a PRF. And also she has Brave. Her father isn't anything to write home about, but it's not Mavier levels of garbage at least. Or maybe it is. The inheritable weapon is cool at least because it has Brave, stats, and full tempo. There's also the seals, and they aren't so bad, awful, atrocious, terrible, mid, horrendous per se, and attack, defense, prime, and the rouse attack speed. If you're looking for sacred seals that can be equipped in the sacred seal slot, then these sacred seals do a pretty good job at being equipped in the sacred seal slot. Other than that, it sure is Noir, I don't remember. Either way, it's nice that this is the first version of her in Fae, although I'm kind of surprised it took this long to add her. Still, a first version is, you know, always really nice, and it has good art to boot. It definitely beats debuting with art that's pretty bad.
It belongs in a movie theater.
And now that we've gone over the brand new ninja units, I think it's time we rank the banner on the line graph. That may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day. And would you look at that? The brand new ninja banner has earned a 2 out of 10 on the line graph. That may seem like a low score, but remember what I said at the beginning. Today's ranking will be based on how many times these units can attack in a single combat as a collective total between all of the units. If it so happens to go over 10 times, it will reset back to 1 and continue from there. And as you can see in the trailer, there are only a total of 12 attacks. Also, it's my video, it's getting it too. Maybe next time, they'll try a bit harder and give the people what they really wanted instead. Like Ninja Halvin. But that's alright. Not every banner is going to be a banger, but it's definitely the best 2 out of 10 banner of the year, that's for certain. And some of you may be asking yourself, should I summon on this banner that has units on it? And the answer could be fairly complicated if I wanted it to be, but for the sake of brevity, possibly? Thraia and Saline support seems pretty nice overall, and Lucina is arguably one of the best units of Book 8 given all the stuff she comes with. Diamont is also really nice if you like units called Diamont. Keep in mind though, there's going to be a new Heroes banner like next week, and it's going to have the 3rd Arcane Axe, so if you wanted to wait and see what that had first, then there's no real harm to that, and also there's going to be some strong mythics at the end of the month most likely. The banner should last a whole month too, so there's really no rush. Of course, if you don't want to summon immediately, then you'll be missing out, but there's definitely no rush. Just keep in mind that the people that end up summoning on the banner are going to have more fun than you as you stare at the banner that you refuse to spend orbs on.
I'm still hard.